Right now, we're in a trust recession. People do not trust anything. The times where you used to run an ad or just post one piece of content, those days are gone. When people hear the word podcast, they instantly think of Diary of a CEO, Joe Rogan. They think like, I need guests for podcasts. I'm here to tell you, that's not what you need. You actually need an authority podcast. There's so much revenue that you're missing out right now by not doing this. Being successful is not really about being the smartest, not even the hardest worker in the room. Some of the most successful people that I've met, they don't get bogged on little details. This is one of the telltales that someone will never make it. For the ones that are gonna listen to this conversation, I came to Australia almost 10 years ago. I couldn't speak English. I had to figure it out. I was completely broke and I had no connections, no nothing. I was just literally dreaming about being in the position that I'm out, and I just made a commitment with myself that I was gonna do it. I'm here to tell you that there's more to you. It is possible.
Hey guys, super excited to be here with Nelson. He's the creator of the viral podcast system. I was going to try and pronounce your last name just then, and I like halfway through bailed. I was like, bail. But creator of the viral podcast system, he helps business owners build to 7 and 8 figures using viral podcasts. His podcast, The Founder's Playbook, is like one of the best podcasts that I have been on. Every detail down to how welcoming he is, the little tiny things that he does to create the experience, the playfulness that he brings into it, the fun that he brings into it. Like every little detail has been thought out, and it's such a beautiful experience. And I'm guessing that's a huge part of what he helps coaches and other business owners to be able to do with their podcasts and then to build to 7 figures. He also only interviews 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs on his podcast as well. And so we're going to talk about his viral podcast system and tips and strategies to build your business to 7 figures and use podcasting. But I would love to start with a personal question that I have, which is, since you have interviewed so many 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, is there, and obviously you are as well, is there a common thread that you notice between all these people?
That is a really good question. And first of all, Sarah, thank you for having me here. Guys, I'm excited to have this conversation, and hopefully I can provide some value to all of you and that you will get something that will help you get closer to the current business goals and in your own journey of entrepreneurship that you're currently on. Answering your question, I've talked to at this point and work with hundreds of millionaires, 7-figure, 8-figure type of entrepreneurs, even some 9-figure entrepreneurs. And you do start realizing that there's some common patterns of success. As they say, success leaves clues. And that's something that myself, when I came, first to Australia, I come from Venezuela, from context, a third world country. And I came to Australia almost 10 years ago. And I was on my own search of what that looked like for me. How am I going to be successful? I'm a dentist, by the way. That's a whole different story. Qualified dentist from back home, and decided to drop all of that to pursue this crazy dream of making videos, being online, telling stories. And that eventually led me to what I do now, which is around the podcasting and helping business owners grow online and monetize their traction online. But what you start realizing is that it's not about like being successful or growing a great business, getting to 7 figures. It's not really about being the smartest, not even the hardest worker in the room, I've realized. It really is about solving a problem for a market and just generally having strong reasons as to why you want to do this. Because when you go to the statistics, this is a very small amount of businesses that will ever get to 7 figures, and even smaller that will ever get to 8 figures, 0.1%. So for you to get there, you need to have very strong reasons as to why you're doing it. I made a decision that that's who I was. I'm an 8-figure entrepreneur, and that's the journey I've been on. You have to really believe that that's even possible for you. And after that, it's like, cool, what problem are you gonna solve for a market that is so valuable that people will be willing to pay you a lot of money to get that solution that you have. But as I said, yes, hard work is part of it, and I'm a big proponent of you should work as hard as humanly possible to get this done. But ultimately, a lot of it comes down to consistency. Some of the most successful people that I've met, most of them are super consistent. It comes down to they just keep showing up, regardless of what situation they're in, regardless of the circumstances. They show up and take action. They don't get bogged on little details. This is one of the telltales that someone will never make it to seven figures. They get bogged into, oh, my logo is not perfect. Oh, no, the website, I still don't have a website. Guys, we built a seven-figure business without a website, just to show you like one of the common limiting beliefs that are out there for business owners or people that are just getting started in their entrepreneurship journey. So again, there's certain characteristics that you can tell that are very common across all these successful entrepreneurs. Some of them being they're some of the most consistent people. They will show up regardless of what's currently taking place in front of them. And ultimately, again, they have strong reasons. They really have a big why as to why they need to make that kind of money. Why do they want that? What's the impact that it's going to make in their lives, around the people around them, their team, their business, in their own community, society, potentially their country. So they have strong reasons to keep showing up regardless of what's taking place. And they take action. They don't get bothered with little details. They're just action-driven people. They understand it's not what I can do right now. It's not this one reel that is going to change my business, this one podcast episode, this one little newsletter. They understand this is just a small piece in the grand scheme of things to accomplish something big, like hitting 7 or 8 figures.
Wow, so much so quickly. I hope you guys are writing this down. Like, someone please write this down. Like, know your why. Don't get bogged down in little details. Take action. Like, write this in the comments, guys. I have a question. Do you think that because you've come over here from Venezuela, right? It's a third world country, you've had to work your ass off to get citizenship, and also with running a business, I don't know if that makes it easier or harder, or probably harder, to get citizenship that way. Do you think that, like, that's a huge part of, just because you come from a less privileged, I'm gonna say less privileged background, right? Do you think that that's just made you more hungry?
Here's what I think. After I've met a lot of people that have accomplished great things, it doesn't really matter where you come from. And part of my story, I'll tell you, back in the day, I used to hate the position I was in. I was like, man, why? Why, God? Why, universe? Why, you put me into this country when I just want to do such big things, and I have all these different challenges that coming from a country like this, you have to face and overcome. From a broken economy, to give you context, guys, as a dentist, qualified dentist, I was making about $80 per month. Back home, back then, that meant that I had to live with my parents until they died, and then you get whatever they had. I couldn't change my car. Traveling wasn't even, an option. So you had all these different things that, stop you or become a problem, a challenge that you need to somehow circumvent, right? And luckily enough, my family helped me to basically, they present me with the opportunity as to, hey, everyone around my age back then, I was in my 20s, early 20s. And back then, basically, they said like, hey, we're going to help you get to wherever you want to go. Once you step in there, it's on you. Right? That was the deal. And between a few family members and stuff, we came across the option of Australia. Somehow I even got lucky enough. I was one of the last batches of Venezuelans that got an actual opportunity to come in Australia. Right now, it's not even an option. Like just to let you, like to give you context, any Venezuelan wants to come now, 100% chance they will get their visa rejected. So there's certain things that are completely outside your control. At the time that I applied, there was still a possibility for a Venezuelan to come to Australia. Once I landed here, it was on me. By the way, guys, I couldn't speak English back then. less than 10 years ago, I couldn't speak English. I had to figure it out. Australian accent, by the way, one of the hardest English accents to actually understand and get familiar with. I was completely broke. I have like a couple grand that I landed in. That was a bunch of savings and family things. As you know, the cost of Australia has never been cheap. So that will literally just be gone extremely fast. And I had no connections, no nothing. I was on my own to figure this thing out. And by the way, I was far from being an entrepreneur, business owner, understanding anything on what I know to be true now when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. So I just knew that this is a do or die. In my mind, that was the case. If I don't figure this out and I figure a way to stay here, I have to go back. And somehow I got lucky enough to have this opportunity. My family did everything they could to even put me here in the hopes that, hey, you're going to make our entire bloodline better if you figure this out. That literally changed my entire trajectory. Because guess what? My sons are gonna be born now in Australia, so they're gonna have and going back to the initial question, which is like, man, for the people that are born here, you do get a lot of advantages. I'll tell you that you get so much opportunity. To me, if you were born in a country like Australia, the United States, Canada, and many other European countries. Honestly, if you don't want to be successful, it's on you. It's not on anyone else. Whereas I understand some people in other countries, might have it harder, just like I had at the beginning. But even then, I will tell you, I met people, immigrants that are extremely successful. I met people from Australia and United States that are extremely successful. So I don't think that that's a determining factor of building a great business or having the life that you dream of. I think it's more on the person to really cement in their mind why they want that. And for some people, the reasons will be very small. This is another part that, initially was a bit crazy to me. I paid this year 100 grand to one of my mentors, right? To master a specific skill that he's world class at, and to be in a room of people that are all working towards hitting $1 million months or adding the next $1 million month. And I was in that room. And for a moment, I just stopped and looked around. I'm like, holy shit, everyone on this room is rich. Everyone on this room is extremely successful. And you have all the different spectrums. But guess what? Like, some of them came from South America. Some of them came from Australia. Some of them came from the States. So I don't think that that's a determining factor. And I found out that some people there, their strong reasons was, I just want to drive a Bugatti. I want a Bugatti. And that's the reason as to why they want to make millions of dollars. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm trying to, retire my entire family and give back to entrepreneurs in other countries like Venezuela and lay down the opportunities. Like, I have these things and I do have some selfish reasons as to why that I want that, to be fully transparent, like we all do. But yeah, that was a big eye-opening moment for me to realize, like, you know what? The reasons are whatever is a strong reason for you. And sometimes it could be very superficial, very selfish, but that might be what helps you build something great.
Yeah, I love that so much because some people don't know what their big why is. For me, like I keep trying to tune into something bigger and something greater than me, and to find something to really stand for, aside from just vaguely the fact that I just love serving and I just love growing and I just love being on the journey. But just the fact that, you can have all these people wildly crazy successful from all different backgrounds, and some of them can have a drive as deep as, I want to change my bloodline. Like, I was like, that hit. I'm like, wow, like that, you've changed your bloodline. And then someone else can just be, I just want to drive a Bugatti. And it doesn't matter. They can both be successful, right? And everyone's over here preaching one way or another. And really it's just like, just figure out what that why is. If it's a Bugatti, if it's a Bugatti. I love that. Why podcasts?
And I will get into that. And one side note here, this will be a great exercise for everyone listening. I want you to go after today, find some time, sit down and write down your strong reasons. And after you come up with, let's say, 10 things, start like crossing the ones that are at the bottom and get the top 3 as to what are your actual deep reasons as to why you need to build, whether it's a 7-figure business. For some people will be 6 figures. I'll tell you that. You need to get clear as to what exactly you're looking for and why do you need that. Don't get sold on a guru telling you that you need a 7-figure business, because I will tell you from my entire experience, most people will never get there. And that's fine. Is not like to live a great life, you need to have a 7-figure business. It's awesome. If you really want that, I'll tell you, yes, go get it done, because my life is absolutely awesome. I wouldn't trade it with anyone. But just get clear, whether it's 8, 7, 9, whatever you want, just get clear as to why is that your deep reason and what's attached to it. Because money ultimately, guys, is just a tool. The more you make, the more you realize, like, this is really just a tool and it's just numbers on a screen. Okay. So go find out. That no one can give you this answer, by the way. That's why I don't believe when someone tells you, like, hey, here's how you can find your what. No one can figure that out for you. You have to figure it out yourself. There's some frameworks and things that can help you get some clarity, but ultimately the only right answer is within you. You need to determine and be real with you, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, this is what I want. This is why I want it. And this is what I'm willing to do in order to get there. Go get clear on your strong reasons. And I promise you, if you actually internalize and integrate that, almost like if you were a computer and just put a new program into you as to, this is how I conduct myself now. This is the type of actions that I will take now because I know why I'm doing this, and it's a strong reason for me to do this. You will see very different results, even in the next 30 days, 90 days, and not even talking about what a year of this could do for you. So go and get clear on that. Going back as well to the question, why podcast? I love that question, because right now we're in a trust recession. People do not trust anything or anyone or offers. People are fatigued. The times where you used to run an ad or just post one piece of content saying, hey guys, I can help you accomplish insert dream outcome in insert crazy amount of time. Just go and click here. Just go and book here. Those days are gone. That used to work when social media was still a new thing, where paid ads, it was still on the come up. That doesn't work anymore. People don't trust anything. People think everything is a scam, that everything, like most people are just fake gurus, that most systems and methodologies or vehicles don't work. You have to have a way to generate traffic, but also get that traffic warm. If you can't get traffic warm, it doesn't matter how many people you can get in front of them. If you can't get them to believe you, to trust you, to want to do business with you, to actually think, you know what, this person, this business, this offer is exactly the solution to the problem that I have. So podcasting is the fastest vehicle right now for you to get long form content, which is exactly what we're doing here right now. You guys are getting to know me. You're getting to know Sarah deeper. We're, hopefully changing some of your perspective, framing you in terms of how we see the world, how maybe this one or other solution can help you get the outcomes that you're looking, get you away from pain, from obstacles, to get a dream outcome, to get a desired result that you're seeking. So that's what long-form content allows you to do. And by the way, guys, we have done this for so many niches that there is no, like, sometimes we hear limiting beliefs out there as to, oh, that wouldn't work for my niche. That wouldn't work because I'm trying to. Guys, I'm here to tell you it works for everyone. Everyone. Even my current mentorship, again, he's selling to super successful entrepreneurs. I got sold through YouTube, through a podcast. I literally got sold on, this is what I need to do. I'm paid $100,000 through long form content. So I'm telling you, there's no limits to this. This will apply to you. If you are an expert at what you do and you have customers, this will work for you too. So you need a way to help people to not compare you to everyone else in your market. Because guess what? As well, this is the other great part. Most people across every niche are not doing it because making long form content, it's a different game to play. It does require a little bit more of you. It does require you to know your stuff, okay? No, like sitting down here and talking for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. You really need to have things to say, right? You need to know what you're trying to sell to the market. So that alone will help you stand out by default of everyone else, because it is harder to do in some ways, okay? Next to that, not only you solve the problem of, okay, now we're creating content that can help us sell our stuff, to get trust in the market, to show evidence that we are who we say we are. We can also repurpose that content into viral short form clips. Okay, so this will give you omnipresence. Here's where you can take that one long form piece of content that goes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can now maximize it to go into Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Shorts, LinkedIn, and X. So basically now you go from maybe posting on one platform or not posting at all to you're gonna be showing everywhere. And guess what? This is one of the coolest things that most people don't understand. All these platforms are interconnected with one another. They sell information to one another. So guess what? When you appear on Instagram for someone, as soon as they interact with it, they make a comment, maybe they follow you, maybe they watch the video long enough, it's a matter of time that you will appear on YouTube for them. And it almost feels like magic. It's like, oh, I seen this guy. Yeah, so it was a different platform. Ah, that's crazy. Synchronicities. No. These platforms are selling information to one another. So it's no accident. It just happens, okay? And it's a matter of time. Eventually, it's going to be TikTok. Eventually, it's going to be LinkedIn. And guess what? If you can take all the real estate area in the mind of your dream customer, if you can live there, if you can be the top of mind solution in whatever you're offering to your market, guess who they're going to buy from? If you add to that the long form style content, when they now get to go and learn from Sarah, right? They get to know her at a deep level, everything that makes Sarah, her unique approach to solving the problem that she solves in the market. And they do the same for Nelson. You're instantly, you can't even be compared. You can be the most expensive option in the market. It gives you so many levers to pull to get leverage. If you have a clear way of generating traffic, but also build that trust with that traffic and getting them essentially to be warmed up, okay? You can also, on top of that, maximize that content for paid ads. Here's where you now have a content engine and a clear way of getting in front of people and getting them warm. You now add the fuel. You now add the gasoline for this thing to start ramping up, because now you're going to get completely cold people that don't know you, don't like you, don't trust you yet, but you have the system in place to do the heavy lifting for you. And this is doing sales one-to-many. Instead of doing a sales call one-on-one, what you're doing is you're literally framing people, educating, nurturing, selling them on this particular vehicle or offer that you have one-to-many. And guess what? Different to ads, which is why you don't want to just implement paid ads. That rarely works for businesses if you don't have now the organic system in place, and specifically as well paired with long form content. You can also now retarget those audiences. We paid ads. So all the organic audience that you're building, and some of them also will come from ads, you can do things, powerful things like retargeting, which also accelerates that pattern for them as to, oh yeah, I keep seeing this guy everywhere. I've seen the guy with the hat and the long hair, always talking about podcasting. So once you get them in the ecosystem, it's a matter of time for them to buy. That's how we see it now, is once someone comes into our ecosystem, it's a matter of time. It might be 3 months, it might be a month, it might be a year. I don't care. I just care about being the top of mind solution for them, because it's a matter of time that they will pay me to get the solution, because they will be convinced there's no way. I can't even consider any other options. Nelson or Vibes Creative is the no-brainer. And finally, you can also transcribe and basically all the long form content, use it for newsletters. So now you can continuously feed your database differently than any other business. Because guess what people do in every single newsletter they blast? Hey, buy my thing. Here's a link. Get the offer. Get it. Man, most people don't engage with that. That is similar to what the problem that I was describing before as to, hey, stop selling me. Right? Or stop being so direct. Give me something so I actually want to buy from you. So now you have an excuse to have another touch point with the people that already know you, that are within your database, to say, hey, by the way, I just dropped a new episode on how to grow $1 million Facebook group. I broke down this, and it's for this kind of people. You can go and consume it here. And then you have just a subtle call to action. By the way, whenever you're ready to grow your $1 million group, you can apply here. But it's almost like you're not making that the center of the newsletter in itself. Hope that answers the question as to why podcast.
I love that. I hope you guys, can you write in the comments just all the different strategies that Nelson just dropped? Because he just dropped several strategies that you could implement. So like just write them in the comments so that we can go back and we can actually implement these. But I was really paying attention to your level of thinking there, because we can get really hung up on when we get a lead, we're so desperate to make that lead convert straight away, right? But your level of thinking was very different. It was, I just want you in my ecosystem, and I'm just going to give you so much value, and it's inevitable. Eventually, at some point, you're going to buy. Obviously, you have processes, right, to make the sales, but you're not hyper like stressed about every person who comes in needing to convert straight away. And I just thought that was a really powerful underlying belief there, that if we just get them in, right, and then we just nurture the heck out of them and give a ton of value, like at some point, if we keep turning up consistently, then they're going to move through the pipeline. So I really loved that. I had a question. It was, oh yes. So you just gave a ton of strategies in regards to content and growing, which is amazing. But what if someone is, that's great, Nelson. I'm doing long form content already. Maybe I'm doing a podcast, or I'm doing lives, or I'm trying to get on podcasts, but nobody's watching or engaging. What are your tips to being better at long form content?
That is an absolutely fantastic question. The main thing to understand is that what we just described, that's the engine, okay? That's the car, actually. The engine, or what's going to drive it, is your offer, your strategy. If this is the most common problem that we see with people that are already making content, but they're not seeing the results that they want. And those results or sometimes could be, or the problem could be sometimes traffic. They're not seeing the type of traffic. Sometimes they see a lot of traffic, but it's the wrong traffic. So basically they're not attracting their ideal customers. So even though they're getting attention online, it's not the right attention, right? And finally, they don't have a clear way of converting that traffic into paying customers and raving fans, okay? So all those problems come from strategy, come from the offer in itself, what we call a knockout offer. If you don't have a knockout offer to get behind your content and something that is truly irresistible and desirable for your market to buy, it's going to be virtually impossible to sell anything at this point with these current trends on the market, okay? So that's a strategy problem. If you're not getting the type of reach that you're hoping to get out of your content, you have a strategy problem, and some of it can be actual implementation of some of these things. To give you one that is great, if you guys are making long form content that is going on YouTube. First of all, if you're not on YouTube, you need to get on YouTube ASAP. If you have a podcast on, let's just say, Spotify, or maybe you're just posting on a private group or something, you need to get some of that long form content into YouTube. It is absolutely, by far, one of the best platforms to be growing right now. It has been for a long time, but with the more implementation and changes that happen across all these different platforms, YouTube keep being the best one to pursue. Is the one that if you implement everything correctly, you're gonna probably see the biggest return or ROI for your efforts of content, okay? Because it's a platform that is designed for people to sit down and spend hours consuming content, different to Instagram, to TikTok, where all people are doing is just scrolling. Yeah, you got me there a little bit. Oh, scroll. Past, you forget. You don't even know what you consume, what you like, what you comment. Whereas YouTube, I bet you most of you, if you're a consumer of long form content, you know the people that you consume. You know why you always keep showing up, and it's almost like a TV series where you're to an extent addicted to their content, right? That's the type of people that you can expect, or the type of audience that you can expect from a platform like YouTube to be growing, okay? So by far, you need to get there. Now, let's just say that either you're new to it or you already have some content that you're posting there, but you're not seeing traction. In most cases, the main problem to solve, let's just assume that your strategy is now put into place, that you know who you're speaking to, you have a no-cut offer. but you're just not seeing the type of results in YouTube. The way to know is first understanding the YouTube analytics. You need to know, YouTube will tell you everything as to, hey, this is how many people are clicking on a video. This is how many people are watching this amount of the video. It will tell you exactly what's the problem by looking at the analytics. Now, the lowest hanging fruit for most people when it comes to growing on long-form platforms such as YouTube is having a great packaging of these three things: your title, your thumbnail, and the hook of the video. If you have those three things in perfect alignment, you will see better results from YouTube, and growing is gonna be way easier than what it is right now. When I said a great title, we're talking about a compelling title, something that generally is gonna get people to click on a video. Most YouTube titles out there honestly suck. They do not sell people. You have to think that your YouTube title is selling people as to why, even though it's free, you're selling them on why they should spend the most valuable asset that they have, which is their time and attention on your video. Why should they do that? I don't know about you, but I'm super intentional when I consume a YouTube video. I need to be sold that my time, that is worth a lot of money now, it is worth putting into this piece of content. I don't care that it's free, because you're taking my attention and time, which I value more than money now, right? So if we're gonna do that, we need a great title. We need a title that is hitting on different human psychology, behaviors, emotions, so they are actually likely to click. Pair with that, you need a great thumbnail, because the first thing that people are gonna see are your thumbnails. That's the visual element that you see going on YouTube, and that thumbnail is to be complementary to your title. Okay, so and this is a common newbie mistake that we see people make on YouTube thumbnails and titles, which is they might put something like, how I made 7 figures in 3 months, and they will literally put the text on the thumbnail and the title. That's one of the rookiest mistakes you can do. That's not what the thumbnail and title are meant to do. They're meant to complement each other, okay? So going back to that same example, let's just say that that's the title you're going for. How I made 7 figures in 90 days. And you might have something like, with just one team member, right? And then on the thumbnail, you might have some sort of photo of you. Human photos work really well, so include yourself in the thumbnails. In most cases, that's going to perform better than not having a human element to it. And in most cases, the best human element is actually the host or the main character of the podcast in itself and the content. And then you might have something like, it should be legal. So this is complementing what we said on the title, but it's not meant to be a repetition of it or reiteration. Okay, so that alone is going to give you way better CTR or click-through rate. And I know this might be very tactical for some people, but I'm telling you, if you want to grow online, you need to understand these basics, which is CTR, click-through rate, for growing on a platform like YouTube. Next to that, let's just say that you did an excellent job at that. You had a compelling title, you had a great thumbnail, so you sold the click. People click on it. The next thing that you need to solve that a lot of people fail to do is your video instantly needs to be delivering on the promise you just made. That title and thumbnail is a promise that you made to your audience or to the prospects. You said, hey, I promise you, if you click here, you will learn how exactly I went about building a 7-figure business in 90 days so fast that it felt illegal, right? That's the promise that we made. As soon as that video starts, it should go, I know what you're thinking. You might be skeptical as to how to grow a business in 90 days so fast that it almost feels illegal. I'm here to break it down for you today. We're going to go straight into it, cutting through the noise. And here's exactly how it went. Step 1, this is what I did. Guys, do not waste time. Just go straight for it, okay? In some cases, we're even seeing, like, one thing that we do is we add an intro for podcasts, and usually we keep this maximum 10 seconds long, which is just meant to provide enough context for new eyeballs or new viewers. But in some cases, for some podcasts of our Done For You partners, we're even seeing that they like in the retention graph, it's a clear drop when the intro comes. So in some cases, we're even removing it and seeing better results, just diving straight into the the value of that specific episode. And the last thing that I'll share with that is I want you to think of each podcast episode as a mini VSL, where you're literally just helping create a sales and trust asset to sell more of what you do. Okay? We want to grow online. We want to get more views. But this is the other part to understand too. And depending on your niche and your offer, there's going to be a total addressable market or TAM. And you need to be very clear on this, because let's just say, to give you an example of this, we have one of our podcast partners that he sells digging machinery. So each one of these things costs over $200,000. Guess what? 99% of people are not interested in buying a freaking digger, right? That's not what they're looking for. So the total addressable market is way smaller. And most people are already kind of aware for him. There's not even that many competitors. But we want to make sure that for the right people, he's the top of mind type of solution that is coming. So his views, we knew straight off the bat, hey, you might not be getting thousands of views. We've been talking at best probably hundreds, but for him, if he gets one customer, that makes over for, an entire month. So that's different to someone selling, as an example, personal training, right? There's a much bigger market. There's less, in general, for that market, there will be less capital or less financial power that this customer will have. So you might have to play more of a volume game. And in that case, your YouTube channel potentially has way more potential for growth. That's what I want you to understand, that maybe depending on your market, your dream customer, your offer, the solution, your product, your service, you might have a cap as to how much you have to grow. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It all depends on the goals that you have, the TAM, the total addressable market, and ultimately just understanding that, yes, getting a lot of attention is cool online, but most people, that's not what they want. Most people, what they want is making more sales, because views don't pay the bills, okay?
Love that. Love that. I hope you guys are writing this down. We have a saying over here, it's called data over drama. So I love that you just brought it back to the data. Oh, we got balloons going
Yeah.
there. Um, Thoughts or questions around your thoughts around if people should be doing just trainings like themselves, like you said, it's a mini VSL, or should they be doing interviews like you do a lot of interviews? What style of content should they be putting out?
That is a great question, because there is a common misconception in the podcast market in itself, that when people hear the word podcast, they instantly think of Diary of a CEO, they think of Joe Rogan. So they think like, oh, I need guests for podcasts. I'm here to tell you, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, expert, in most cases, that's not what you need. You actually need what we call an authority podcast or solo style episodes, which is you talking to your audience. You are the star of the show. When you do interviews, there has to be a tactical, strategized way as to why you're doing certain interviews. Most business owners, to be honest, shouldn't be doing interview style podcasts. If someone wants to be like Joe Rogan, that's a completely different game to play. And yes, go ahead, do interviews. It is one of the fastest ways to grow a podcast if you get the right people with the right audience and the right exposure. That can grow a lot. But what we see time and time again, that business owners trying to make sales, leaning into doing interview podcasts, in most cases, they're making $0. Because they're literally just trying to get that, they're just trying to get attention for the sake of getting attention. But again, goes back to what I've been saying, which is the wrong type of attention. I had someone that came to us, and basically they were in the financial space, right? And he's like, yeah, the goal is we want to, crack the multi seven figures and so on. And we've been doing our podcast. We actually have some great guests. I'm about to bring a famous rugby player. And I'm like, how is that helping getting more customers? And then he goes, oh, well, a lot of people know him. And it's, oh, yeah. So is his audience your customer? Well, we don't know. Okay, so because if someone is following a rugby player, it's because they're into rugby, not because they're thinking this guy will solve my financial problems, right? So guys, do not, like I'm telling you, in most cases, you don't need an interview. You need to actually do solo style episodes. And this is something and a bigger motivation even for you to do it. The more you do solo style content, not only you build a deeper relationship with your potential customers, but also it will help you get better in front of camera, become a better communicator, storyteller, a better salesperson of what you do, a better communicator of the problem that your dream customer has and why they're where they are and what's missing for them to get the outcome that you can help them achieve. Okay, so you're building a deeper relationship with yourself. Some of the podcasts that I even consume, and if you consume some solo style episodes, you will have a strong connection with that host or with that person, with that main character. You will feel like you know them. You will be very excited to even get the opportunity to, to one day meet them or be in a conversation with them. And again, look at people like Alex Hormozi as an example. I just paid him 37,000 Australian dollars to join his coaching program. And I did it in a split second. Why? Because he has built so much trust with me in the past 4 to 5 years. He has given me so much value that as soon as he said, guys, this is the first time and probably the last time ever that I will do a coaching style of offer, I just pulled the credit card and just paid. It wasn't even no, let me think about it. No. I just paid, took the action to get the transformation, right? So, but again, if he was just doing interview style podcasts, I wouldn't have the relationship that I have. And even going to an example like Diary of a CEO, I don't have a strong attachment to him. I like his content. I like the kind of people he interviews, but do I put Steven above Alex Hormozi? No, not in a million years, right? I feel like I know Alex. I feel like this guy, has provided so much value to me. And again, not having a dig at Steven. I love Steven too, but I want you to understand the difference in between that. Now, let's go back to the original question. Okay, so we know that most business owners will be or be better doing solo style content if they're trying to make more sales, okay, and be perceived as an authority in the space. When would it make sense to get some interviews? Okay, if you're, as I said before, if you're really just trying to grow and you just want to be trying to compete with Joe Rogan or all of these big names, yeah, probably going for interview styles might be better if you can get a hold of really big names and leverage their fame to just get more attention. But unlikely that you might see the type of financial return that you might hope for if you're a business owner, okay? So another part, when should you consider then having someone, a co-host or something like that? It could be someone from your team. To give you an example of one of our in-house podcasts, it's called Pod Marketing Secrets. And it's all around how to basically help business owners grow with podcasting and implementing some of the strategies and things that we have. And I do that podcast with our COO. So it's a co-host style conversation. We're both in the business. We both bring different perspectives and things of value to our end user. So that makes sense for us and it makes it more fun in some ways. Another part is that with my own business, I don't want the business to be reliant on Nelson. So that's why that was one of the big motivations of starting that podcast, because now not only Nelson gets to be a part of some of the episodes along with his team members, but now the team is doing some episodes. It doesn't require me at all, right? They can go and have some great topics and great valuable content for the people that we're trying to target and get in front of, okay? So that could make sense. Maybe you are some sort of dentist and you have your dental assistant and you're looking to create a podcast to get more patients on the clinic, or maybe you want to sell a high ticket online offer related to oral health. You potentially might do that podcast with your assistant, because maybe she gets to play dummy and ask you questions as, hey, why do you think most people get cavities? Right? And then she gets to be the expert answering the questions. So there's a few different formats that you can implement if you want some sort of support or a second person to come in to help you with that. This is the best one though, by far. If you're considering on having people coming into your podcast, again, it has to come back to strategy. It has to be intentional as to why you're bringing someone to the podcast. But the best one that most business owners are missing out is bringing successful case studies or clients to come as a guest on the podcast. There's so much revenue that you're missing out right now by not doing this. And why? Because it goes back to everything I just said. Not only did you are going to build a deeper relationship with your customer by having a 30 minutes or 60 minutes or even 10 minutes type of conversation with them, you now get content that you get to leverage for your funnels as social proof and evidence that you are who you say you are, right? You get the customer talking about everything you have achieved. So this is a podcast episode that in reality is a testimonial. That's what it is. We're not hoping that this episode is going to get millions of views. If it does, awesome, but that's not the intention. The intention of this is to maximize the sales and trust asset, to go on our backend conversion mechanism or funnel, to go on our newsletter, to go as proof, to get people more warmth of, hey, we have solved, by the way, we have solved this problem for people just like you. Here's, by the way, a podcast episode that we did with John, where we showcase how we help them add an extra $100,000 to his business using this particular system. Boom. And you deliver the episode. You can add content from it. You can pin a top post on your Instagram that is a real extracted from that conversation of a great result that you achieved for it. Guess what? If the client also has some sort of online presence or personal brand, they will reshare the episode. So now you're tapping into more people like them, right? So there is unlimited amount of reasons as to why most business owners should be doing this particular tactic implemented. And again, if you're gonna do interview style episodes, this is the one that you want to do in most cases.
I love that. And I think that like removes a lot of the pressure, right? Because we feel we need to go, how am I going to get these big names or these famous people or who no one wants to come on my podcast? And people reach out to me all the time to come on their podcast. And a lot of the time it's a no, just because like I'm so busy, right? And there's only so many things that I can do in a day. But you're saying you don't even need interviews. You can just do your own teaching, and that's going to build more of a relationship, more trust, display competency, right? And they're going to make more sales, which is what they want. So I love that. Guys, just drop, like if this has been really helpful, drop your biggest takeaway, your biggest aha moment or something that you're going to implement. I would love to see. I did have a question. Oh yeah, do you have anything to help them? Like if they want to start a podcast or I don't know, like get into this whole podcasting thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do have a viral podcast system license. So essentially, everything that we have learned by being day in and day out in the trenches of almost doing this for almost a decade, podcasting. Myself, I'm a podcaster myself. This is all we do day in, day out, for specifically for business owners, experts, and entrepreneurs. Okay, so what we do is, or what we did is essentially we package all the systems of everything we have learned, everything that we continuously improve, and we made it available to other business owners that just didn't qualify to work with our completely done for you services. Okay, we have a very limited capacity, and usually that's reserved for multi-7, 8, 9 type of figure of entrepreneurs. But we're on a mission to launch 10,000 podcasts for business owners, founders, CEOs, experts, and the only way that we could do that was basically it's systemizing or licensing what we do, and essentially is we build and implement these systems on their businesses. We do that through consulting, one-on-one type of delivery. All our templates, all our systems, everything gets passed down so they can run it in-house. And on top of that, we vet, train, and place a video editor and social media manager to run the entire thing for them at a stupid cost that you wouldn't get. So like literally, this is designed for any business owner, expert that is usually above the 20K, that is looking to crack 100K months, and that's the type of mission that they're on. This system is for you, and it's done in a way that you're not doing all the low revenue driven activities such as editing, such as posting content, making thumbnails. That's not what you should do. I don't do that. My team does that. Okay, so that you should not do anything other than sitting down in front of camera, getting the content, and then hand it over to a team. So that's the problem that we solve, and it's available now for any business owner that is looking to implement. Again, everything is delivered literally one-on-one with you over 8 weeks. I can go about showcasing exactly all the details of what that will look like for you. So we can just make the link available for you, Sarah, to check it on the group if anyone wants to apply for a free viral podcast system demo. And I myself will break it down if this will work for you, what it will look like, and how to go about it.
Okay, amazing. So maybe comment demo, guys. If you want details, comment demo and I'll grab the link and I'll be able to bring it back, or Nelson be able to bring it back. Any final takeaway or message that you would really like to leave people with?
For the ones that are going to listen to this conversation and you know that there's more to you, you know that you're meant for big things, that you really want to provide a lot of value for your market, for your family, for that life that you want to live. I'm here to tell you that it is possible. I'm a living proof that you can truly materialize that dream, that there's going to be a price to pay, that is going to require a lot of you. But if you're just able to just take the action, do everything that is in your power to actually put yourself in a position where that will become possible for you. I'm yet to meet someone that doesn't get it, that doesn't get the dream that they want. Sometimes it's going to take longer than what you think it's going to take. For me, getting my citizenship in Australia, I just remember when I first came here, I instantly fell in love with this country. I remember in my day 3, I was overlooking Brisbane City from Kangaroo Point, and I was just literally dreaming about being in the position that I'm out. And I just made a commitment with myself that I was going to do it. And I've done everything in my power to put myself into this position. Now I'm just moving. The vision has evolved so much. So I'm going for much bigger things that back then it wasn't even in my awareness. But all I want you to understand is it's possible. You can do that dream if you really are committed and you decide. You kill every other option, you go for it, and you go for it like it's do or die. I'm yet to meet someone that in the long run doesn't get what they once wanted. If you tell me that you want a six pack, if you do all the diet, you pay the PT, you really go about doing the nutrition, you pay the nutrition expert, you do everything in your power to say no to all the bad foods and all the things that are not gonna help you get the six pack. You stay disciplined, you get a good sleep, you implement all the habits, you start to study people that have gotten a six pack and that being able to retain a six pack for several years. I'm yet to meet someone that doesn't get the six pack. It's not a thing. It's the same for business. I'm yet to meet someone successful in whatever they're trying to build that in whether it's with building their personal brand, being online, getting customers, growing the business, that those all the things that are required to do and are disciplined, keep showing up, keep taking the action, keep taking the next step, that does not get it. So just know, for the ones that really want this thing, that have the strong reasons that I was discussing, you can too.
I love that. What I'm hearing is get obsessed with your thing, and you can't not get the outcome. Nelson, thank you so much. This was so helpful. I will grab the links if anyone wants a viral podcast demo, comment demo. I'll share the links with you guys. But otherwise, really appreciate you coming on. This was super valuable. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Peace and love.